Welcome to this week's Future Toolbox podcast. We explore the Z to A of life skills, where each letter stands for a topic and essential tool to help you get ahead in life. Meet Jules and Mark, creators of the multi-award-winning Future Toolbox, and enjoy their straightforward approach to creating growth mindsets that help people turn their dreams into realities. Whether you're a teen in education, a parent, a teacher, or part of a community group, start creating positive habits from today.
Welcome to our latest Z to A podcast with myself, Jules, and Mark from the multi-award-winning Future Toolbox.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back.
This is where we pick a letter and a topic and discuss how you can use our tools and tips to improve your own personal development and life. Now, it's over to you, Mr. Kennedy, to let us know this episode's letter.
Mr. Kennedy, that sounded very formal, didn't it? So this week's letter is O for opportunities. We're going to look at how to find your hidden talents and new passions in life. And also, this month, on the 7th of August, is National Opportunity Day.
Yes, which is why we chose opportunity, because it's a great time of year, particularly if you are a student and you're on your summer break, to start thinking about the next year coming up and what is it that you'd like to achieve, and looking at things that you'd like to learn or new passions or things that you'd like to do.
And also, if you're an adult and you're enjoying your summer holidays, this is always a good time to reflect.
Yes.
Maybe if you're sitting by the pool, chilling out, or on the beach or something like that. And funny enough, that's where one of our ideas to create the Future Toolbox, our biggest idea came when we were sitting on a beach.
It was. We were in Ibiza. I remember it.
We was in Ibiza, partying on, chilling out on the beach. And we sat there one day and said, wouldn't it be great to run our own business and be our own bosses? And also, talking of ideas on beaches, we actually made a decision to move house while we were sitting on the beach in Cape Verde a few years later, didn't we?
I remember we were sat there and we could actually watch the turtles in the sea.
Oh, wow.
We were deciding whether to move, how we were going to do that. And actually we decided to keep on the house that we had and rent that out and move into that lovely big house we had.
Now, we're not suggesting that you just have to go to a beach to create an opportunity. There are loads of opportunities out there. They sometimes find us and we sometimes find them. I love the idea of the opportunity finding you, because sometimes an idea will pop into your head when you're least expecting it. But I'm just going to throw it back round to the other way and look at the negative reasons why people don't take opportunities. Sometimes they're presented with an opportunity, but they go, no, I'm not going to do that. I made a little bit of a list here. Now, the first one I popped on there was that sometimes people fear change. They don't want to change away from their comfort zone. It's too scary, isn't it?
It can be. It can be very, very scary. You know, I always view a change in direction is not a failure. It's not scary. And again, as we just said, it's an opportunity to maybe discover hidden talents that you didn't know that you had and uncover new passions.
And one thing you just mentioned there was talents you didn't have. Sometimes that kicks in the imposter syndrome, which is another reason why people don't take opportunities, because they don't feel their talents are going to be good enough, big enough, or strong enough to actually move forward with it. So they just go, do you know what, I'm rubbish at that, I'm not going to do it.
I think particularly if you're maybe looking at changing your job or direction, worrying that you haven't got the skills could be something that could hold you back.
And if you're a student in school, it's quite common that you think you're rubbish at something because you've struggled with it in the past. So you'll pick that subject and say, oh, well, I'm rubbish at that subject, so what's the point in trying? Instead of looking at the opportunity to how to make it better. How can I actually get better in this bit that I'm really struggling with? How could I increase my grade? How could I work better with my teacher or my peers in the classroom or something like that? So yeah, there's a lot to think about there.
Yeah, if I go back to when we started up the Future Toolbox, initially it was you going into the schools and delivering these wonderful workshops. And then eventually I was able to come along and join you as part of the Future Toolbox, which that meant I would have to go up on stage and present alongside you and be a public speaker, which absolutely petrified me.
Yeah, it is absolutely terrifying. There's a phrase where people sometimes say public speaking is more feared than death. I think we've mentioned that in previous podcasts, and I always counter that and say I'd rather public speak than die, obviously. But yeah, it's really, really scary to stand there on stage and not know what's coming out your mouth because you're so nervous. is a position that you don't want to be in. So it is all about preparation and learning. But the first time you do it, it's not easy.
No, it's not. And it is that thing, you don't think you've got the skills. You don't think you've got the confidence. You don't think you're good enough. You have that whole imposter syndrome. But what we did was what we teach everybody to do when you're learning to do something, is do it in small chunks. I wasn't thrown straight up onto the stage and said, right, deliver this 2-hour programme to 300 students, because I would have failed incredibly. We did it bit by bit and introduced me to doing little parts, little cameos, I guess you'd call it, wouldn't you? Until I felt confident, and now I love public speaking. You can't shut me up.
No, you can't stop. But it is true, yeah, small bite-sized chunks. The fear factor is something you have to overcome, and there's always that phrase as well. It sounds a bit of a cliche sometimes about stepping outside your comfort zone.
Yeah, absolutely.
I always like expanding your comfort zone, because the more you expand it, the more you become comfortable with anything. But also going back to something I mentioned right at the start of that, so public speaking's hard. But in truth, everything's hard, isn't it?
Everything's hard if it's new to you and you're outside your comfort zone. It is going to be difficult until you become comfortable with it.
Yeah. And when I was learning to play the guitar, which was exactly a year ago this week, I first ever picked up a guitar. It was hard. And I actually found a video came up on our photo memories of me trying to play 2 chords on the guitar. And I could see the pain in my face trying to move my fingers onto the strings. And it was really, really, really difficult. Now I can play those 2 chords without thinking about them, because over a year of practicing, they've become easy. But everything's hard. Whatever you're going to try and do at the start, it's really, really hard.
You're not comfortable with it and you have to learn how to do something. But equally, it's not always about learning something new. If you're talking about opportunities, if we cast our minds back a couple of years, we'd fallen in love with the island here, Lanzarote, and we were looking at how we could work a way out to move in here. And guess what happened?
The opportunity presented itself.
It presented itself to us when we were shopping.
Yeah, that's right. Now, sometimes you hear the phrase, and again, it sounds a bit of a cliche, about being in the right place at the right time. We love football. If you take football, for instance, a centre forward might score a really lucky goal because he's in the right place at the right time. That will only happen because that centre forward's put themselves in that right place so many times that sometimes the luck happens. Now, just luck has happened. We decided to come over to Lanzarote to explore about how to move here and what we could do when we lived here, what it was like to live here. And when we went to do some shopping, we actually bumped into a person who was leaving the island and an apartment was coming up for rent, and just so happened to be in the right place at the right time to have the right conversation with the right person. Now, some people might say, well, that's really lucky. But if we hadn't come to Lanzarote to explore it, we wouldn't have been in the right place at the right time. So we actually made that luck happen, that chance moment, that chance meeting.
I do think you can create your own luck, and that will create the opportunities for you to do the things that you want to do. If there's something that you really desire to do and it's on your mind and you're trying to work your way around there, quite often an opportunity will present itself. Now, you can take that opportunity or you can't. And I think Richard Branson is famous for saying, if a good opportunity comes to you, say yes and worry about the rest of it afterwards, which is what we did when we were offered the place here in Lanzarote. We knew it was something that we wanted to do. We weren't quite sure how it was all going to work out, but we walked away from the meeting with all the people involved and said, do you know, we would be absolutely so silly if we didn't say yes to this right now. It's everything we wanted to do, and let's give it a go. And here we are, over a year later.
Absolutely loving it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, you're right, because a lot of people have also said to us, we wouldn't have the guts to do what you do, or what's it like doing that? I don't know. I would love to do that one day. Maybe I could do it one day. And I'm not saying, oh my goodness, we're amazing because we did it and these people aren't amazing because they haven't done it. But that sometimes is the thing. It's about taking the leap of faith. It's about thinking, right, here's the opportunity. Let's take it now. Let's seize it. Let's put all the stuff in place. We'd had the idea for quite a long time beforehand. We made the opportunity happen. And it is about pushing it forward. We've missed loads of opportunities in the past by not taking them. So we have learned the hard way as well.
Quite often, you know, you reflect back and you think to yourself, oh gosh, if only I'd have taken that opportunity all those years ago when something was offered to you how your life might be different. We all do it. We all have these opportunities presented, and it's whether you feel at that moment that, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but let's do it. Yeah, moving here hasn't been without its challenges, but I think you're going to have that whenever you take on a new opportunity or a new job, or you're learning something new. It's going to be challenging, but it's how you face those challenges and the mindset that you use to make sure that you achieve what it is you're trying to do.
Yeah, and that's a place where a lot of people quit as well when it becomes tough. So I remember when I first started learning the guitar, going back to that one, my really, really good friend Spencer, who was teaching me the guitar, said most people quit when they can't play this particular chord. You have to get past it. You have to move on. Most people quit because they can't do this bit. And this is the time where people throw their guitar away. Replace the guitar with whatever your opportunity is. And sometimes it's that moment where we just want to quit. Another phrase to coin that I absolutely love is never ever quit on a bad day.
Gosh, yes.
Yeah. Try quitting on a good day, because you're never going to do it, are you?
No,
But never quit on that bad day. Just step back, move away from it, distract yourself, take some time to think about it, or take some time not to think about it, and then go back tomorrow and think, right, okay, what didn't go so well there? Let's pick that guitar back up again. Let's pick that opportunity back up again. Let's pick that business idea or new house moving or whatever it is that your idea is.
Very often, when you're trying something new, there's going to be disappointments in there. Things aren't going to go as you would want. It's never a smooth ride. But as Mark said, if you're having a bad day, you're having a bad day. We went and played paddle this morning. I didn't have my greatest game ever, but it is what it is. And I'm quite happy to walk away, put that one to bed and go back on playing again tomorrow. And I'll just pick my bat up and get on with it, and I will have a great day tomorrow.
And one big observation I noticed earlier, because me and you started playing together, you weren't having your best day really, were you? But you just laughed. And you moved on from every single shot that you played. You didn't beat yourself up. You didn't get stressed out. And because you were laughing, the other people we were playing with, they were also laughing, but they weren't laughing at you. They were laughing with you. And again, that peer pressure or that peer community can have a big effect on you and your opportunities. The peer pressure could have been the people that laughed at you and made you realise that you don't want to do it anymore, and you could have listened to them. But the peer community that we had was because everybody else that we were sort of playing with today has been there, done that, had the really, really bad day. They're like, yeah, let's just all join in. No problem at all. Let's carry on.
And thankfully, it wasn't just me that was having a bad day. There was a couple of people just weren't on their game this morning. I think part of it was due to the fact it's incredibly hot. But we were just laughing about how we just couldn't manage to get this ball over a net.
No. And I'm going to hold my hands up. I struggled to start with as well today. So moving away from paddle, because obviously we'll be back tomorrow and we'll be flying. There's also the chance to create an opportunity from something that may not be very positive. I'm a massive fan of The Simpsons, likewise you are as well. And Homer Simpson always makes me laugh, and he created this word called crisis-opportunity, which is when you create an opportunity out of a crisis. There's a myth that the Chinese have the same word for crisis of opportunity.
All right,
very, very similar. So he called it a crisis-opportunity. But anyway, it's taking something that maybe isn't the best and turning it into something positive. Also this week is 12 years since I had my accident where I've suffered my brain injury. And I'm going to be honest with you, that wasn't the greatest thing that's ever happened in our lives, is it?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. And it presented us with lots and lots of challenges that we've talked about in previous podcasts, and we also talk about in our other podcast, which is called Brain or Shine. And that's something that we created off the back of my brain injury and what me and you had to go through in order to get to where we are today.
Very true. Now, we didn't start it straight away because obviously you had to recover. We had to spend an enormous amount of time working on getting you through the injury, the knock-on hidden disabilities, understanding them and working with some experts to help us understand how our life has changed dramatically from the brain injury. But it's from that, the experience that we had going through all of that, that made us want to pass on what we'd learned onto other families that are possibly going through what we had gone through and how difficult it was. But we wanted to make it a bit easier for them, so created the Brain or Shine community.
And that was just coming up for a year since we actually, launched the social media page. Now, in a year, we've managed to touch so many people's lives and help them out. And only today, somebody put on our peer-to-peer support group, just thank you for everything you do. And that actually touched a real nice nerve in our hearts, I think, didn't it? Where we were thinking, wow, we've really helped this person with something. And that took me back to when I was helped by somebody else. But by engaging in this community, it doesn't just mean it's me and you helping other people. It's people helping us and sharing ideas. And it makes some of the challenges normal and finds ways to deal with them and move forward with them.
Yeah. So it was something that we wanted to do, but we had to wait until the time was right to create that opportunity. And 12 months ago, we'd got everything together that we needed and we launched Brain or Shine. And thankfully, it's been successful, but most importantly, it's helping other people and it's helping us. So, it's a win-win situation. And that's come from, as Mark said, something not so good, but we've been able to take the positives and give back from a bad situation.
Or a crisis opportunity, as Homer Simpson would say.
Although life is, as we've said, full of unexpected twists and turns, sometimes you can get a positive out of them.
Yeah. Now, we've talked about really, really big opportunities like moving house, moving country, setting up businesses and having brain injuries. I'm going to suggest to our listeners that not every opportunity has to be as life-changing as that.
Absolutely not.
We talk loads about goal setting and growth mindsets within the Future Toolbox. And most of them start with little actions. Mm-hmm. So sometimes think about that little opportunity that can make a big difference to your life.
Well, yeah, quite some months ago, I had the opportunity of starting to learn pottery. And it didn't happen at that point. And then I bumped into somebody else. And now I've had some lessons on having a lump of clay and making art with it. And the last ones that I've done has been some beautiful hearts. And I've been able to make holes in it and put air plants in it. And it sounds bizarre, but if you can see the pictures, they are absolutely gorgeous. I've shared these pictures and people have actually said to me, where can I get them from? Or can I buy one? Will you make me one? And that just came from a little opportunity to be able for me to have a go at something that I'd always wanted to try.
And you can see where this opportunity could go. Now, you could carry on really enjoying just making pottery that's going to fill our apartment up and it's very beautiful. Or you could think this could be a business idea. Now, there's two different sides to it there and you don't have to take the second one. You can carry on with the first one. But the real key here is there's a small opportunity that Jules has created that could lead to a bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger opportunity. And it's having the foresight to think about that. Maybe it could be something that could happen next week. Maybe it could be something that could happen in 2 years' time. But the opportunity is there. And that is the key bit that we're getting over to our listeners, is just looking for those small little opportunities, those little goals, those little chinks of light in the tunnel or whatever you want to call them, and looking at ways to take them.
And there's loads of opportunities with that and some artwork that I'm doing and working with some other people on the island. So there is an opportunity to maybe build a lovely big community where we can all work together and possibly sell some of our art if that's what we want to do.
Or just create some friendships.
Or just
that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
Of course, we've talked about National Opportunity Day, but this doesn't just happen one day a year. It doesn't just happen on your summer holidays. It doesn't just happen at Christmas or New Year. Always be on the lookout for those opportunities. What I'd like you to do is take the opportunity to visit our website, which is futuretoolbox.co.uk, and check out our tools on there. We're also on social media on Instagram, Facebook and TikTok. And we have a YouTube channel, plus we are on LinkedIn because we are
everywhere.
So take this opportunity to enjoy the rest of your week, and we look forward to catching you in the next episode.
Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us for the Z2A of Life Skills with Jules and Mark of the Future Toolbox. Don't forget to head over to their website, which is futuretoolbox.co.uk, where you can find lots of free resources, plus a host of books in the store, as well as subscribing to the membership site. Follow Future Toolbox Instagram, TikTok and Facebook at Future Toolbox, and subscribe to their YouTube channel too.